Welcome to USMLE SARTI. We are committed to empowering IMGs. We're excited to guide you on your match journey. Don't forget to click subscribe and turn on notifications so you can get notified whenever we add new content. Also, follow us on Instagram and Twitter for the latest tips and tricks regarding everything USMLE. Now, let's dive into it.
I think our panelist, Dr. Tanya Tandon, has joined us. So, again, a very, very committed pediatrician. I mean, she's always there to help IMGs. So, Tanya, welcome. Hopefully, things are going well.
Hi, Pavan sir. Thank you so much for having me today. Things are well. Yes.
Thank you. So, without taking much of your time, if you want to give them tips on pediatrics, how to go about program selection, program list, what programs look for, rather than applying for all 300 pediatrics programs, what are your tips? And why don't we start with an introduction about you?
So, okay, I'll start with the introduction and then we'll go to the questions in detail. So, I'm Dr. Tanya Tandon. I recently finished my residency from Brookdale Hospital Medical Center in New York, Brooklyn. And I'm going to be starting my job now. So when I started my journey, I did it through USMLE SARTI. And like any IMG, I've never had experience with writing personal statements or CVs that extensively for a formal interview session. So it really helped me a lot, all the resources that I used. Having said that, coming to program selection. So a little bit of background for me. I started my journey in medical school. I was more concentrated on giving steps after I finished all my 4.5 years. So in my internship year is when I started taking USMLE very seriously, and I gave my steps. During my time, step 2CS was removed. So we had to give OET and then sit for the steps. So I didn't finish my step 3. I did it in my residency period. So I'll go through all of the steps then. So I had a very short timeline when I approached Pavan sir to actually start my residency journey. And I literally came with a blank slate and I didn't know what to put where. So the classes that Dr. Catherine and you hold for everybody who's doing preparation for their ERAS application, I think that was one of the biggest goal steps for me during USMLE SARTI, because it actually elicits how you're supposed to present your work, how you're supposed to present your research, how you're supposed to present your voluntary experience, because you definitely have limited number of characters to do that. So I religiously followed those classes and I went through those tips and how to approach my ERAS application, because that's how you put yourself forward to a program in your application cycle, and that makes a lot of difference. Same thing goes for the personal statement. I think having mentors who've gone through your personal statement multiple number of times and give you the opportunity to revise it and resend it to them. So I had physician reviews and journalist reviews, so that helped me a lot. I also had Pavan sir who helped me with my personal statement to go over it, give me feedback. So you have a lot of people that you can approach during your USMLE SARTI journey to actually help you with those steps. So coming to program shortlisting, because I was applying for pediatrics and my scores fitted the filters that I was applying for, I went through state-wise. So my specific interest was being in the east side because I did have a lot of family there. I did want to apply to the west, but California was the major state that I have family in, but California is not very open to IMGs. So my options were again limited. So for the list, I think a speaker before me already elicited it very well. I was on that talk as well. So going through the FRIDA list, yes, it helps you. But I think SARTI list helped me narrow it down further, because with my score filters and with my geography filters, I think I was able to get the list better. So having FRIDA is good because it gives you the nitty-gritties, like any changes in the program director's emails, program coordinator's emails. So it's good to have that resource, but having a list in your USMLE SARTI page, I think that makes a lot of difference to get like the nitty-gritties. Okay, this program definitely has a filter for me that I will get hopefully an interview with them. So that would be my that would definitely be something that you should be concentrating on, because having a list is good because, again, we have to be money minded with this, because you can't just apply to 300 and wait for somebody to reply. I think what helped me when I got feedback from USMLE Sarthi was having, let's say, your top 10 or your top 15 programs, having a personal statement which was catered to them specifically. That helped me a lot. And also, when I sat for those specific interviews, when they read your personal statement, they know that your interest already lies with ranking them on a higher level, because, again, no program wants to go unfilled. So they are looking for candidates who do express their interest from the very beginning. So I did do the pre-approach to the programs before the application cycle, so that I could express my interest, so that they know that I'm a candidate who would potentially be applying to their program and look for my application when I do. I did outreach to them after we submitted our applications, because then I had like a relationship with them before I even put in my application. So they knew that this is a serious candidate. She's going to come for the interview, show up, and also rank us on a higher approach. And then I also understood that, yes, that program is interested in my candidacy and they would like to know more about me. So it goes as a symbiotic relationship. And yeah, that was awesome. And then after you sit for the interviews, not everybody will tell you, but USMLE Sarthi does, that you're supposed to give them like updates of your life. For example, if you're doing a job somewhere, or you're doing something voluntary experience, or your paper just got published. So it's good to have a touch with them, so that you can be in contact with them, and again, keep reinstating your interest in that program till you go to the match list cycle. So having said that, I made a list where I also ranked pre-match programs, and that was the program that I did match in, Brookdale Hospital Medical Center. That's a pre-match. So when I sat for the interview, I liked my program director and my chair, who was also now the CMO of my hospital. So having an interview with them, I understood that they were interested in me as a candidate and not just my application. So I think that holistic approach, every time you sit with the program, you kind of understand, you write your points. What are you looking for in a program? So let's say you're looking for research publications. So for example, my program director herself is our research person. So she gives you one-on-one time to get a research experience, to publish. So she guides you through the whole journey through that. So that was really important for me. Then I wanted a program that was open to ideas. So I was able to write a grant because my program was very helpful with that. So it's good to know. And plus I got a very, Brookdale Hospital has been here for a really long time. So I have an alumni group that I'm a part of. So all of that does matter as you keep stepping forward in life. So I think all of those really help. So the first thing that I started was with USMLE Sarthi. So all of those feedbacks, all of those lists that I made, approaches, it really helps. So that's my journey till here, till getting it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tanya. Before I let you go again, congratulations on your job. But one question, you've been through the residency. If there are a couple of tips you want to share with the applicants, what you must have seen a lot of applicants applying and maybe messing up and all that. What would be one or two tips you want to share with the applicants for the season?
Okay, so that's a very good question. When you're applying for residency, and this is the pre-residency workup that you do to get your match. After you match and you start residency in a particular program, I think firstly it's good to have a good set of seniors who would guide you through what resource materials you can use, how to approach specific attendings, who likes their work style in a specific way. It's good to understand everybody's work style and then pick what you like and make your own way through it. I think also having the approach of I'll be there to help if you need anything. I think that attitude works a very long way, that if it's okay, I'll do what you want me to do. There's no two sentences about it. It's just like, yeah, if you want this, I'll do it. Easy. So having an easy go attitude really helps. I think for me, what really helped was having a good administration, because I wanted to, like I said before, I wanted to write a grant. So I was able to do that, get it, and able to work on it. So having your program bent towards it, because it involves a lot of finances, guidance, mentorship. So all of that you kind of understand in the first year. So it depends on your goals, but definitely those two things really work a lot.
Thank you again, Tanya. I appreciate your time taking it out from your busy schedule. Appreciate helping the IMGs and congratulations once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm happy to help if there's any questions.
Thank you. Yeah, pal, we'll be in touch. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much for watching. We hope that video provided valuable insights for your journey. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And check out our website for details on how we can guide you to a successful match.